Well, shalom everybody. This is Dave from Universal Truth of Mankind. That's utom.org. Come and visit the website. You will find I do have the YouTube embedded in there, and it always shows the latest video. Just to recap also, I do have a Rumble account now, and I have started updating, or uploading I should say, all the videos going back to episode 22. This is 27. So starting in 22, it's all there. I would be including the information on the website, so you can find it on Rumble. I like Rumble because they're not censoring. And there is censoring going on in YouTube, even with religious studies, quote unquote, religious and spiritual studies. So let's just move on here. I want to hit the subject of desire just one more time. I want it understood. This is one of the first, this is a tool, the very first thing, prerequisite for everyone to do before we can move on. Desire, as I've said in the previous video, is equal to awareness. So if you want to be aware of the Creator, you have to desire the Creator. If you're an atheist, you're not going to see God in anything. So don't even bother. If you are a religious person, you're going to see God in the eyes of the religious doctrines and teachings of your religion. So you're going to see a limited view of who God is, and sometimes even a false view. But that's just the way things go. We have to understand that when we take a look at the Hebrew Scriptures, there's really no discussion on who and what God is. I mean, you could say, well, God is all-powerful. God is the provider. You could say that. But I'm talking about the essence of God. It's not spoken about. It's simply accepted. God is. What the Hebrew Scriptures do, however, it tries to describe, tries to introduce us to ourselves. So whenever you read anything in Scripture, don't read it for history, saying, oh yeah, king, blah, 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 blah. No. Don't read it that way. It's not the way you read that text. You read it in the sense of, what can that teach me about me? Who am I really? Now, I'm going to give it an example of desire for a moment. It's a little bit flipped around slightly, but when I was a young man, my mother needed a new car. This is the mid to late 80s. And so we went to a Toyota dealership at the time because they had the most reasonable prices on new vehicles. And we walked in, and all of a sudden, what did we want? We wanted the MR2. That was the sports car, Toyota sports car at the time. It had a center-mounted engine, so it had very good control characteristics. It had low center of gravity, so you were able to take turns, get those G's up there, as you're making the turn. My mother, fortunately, couldn't drive stick at the time, so I said, I'll drive it, because they only came in manual transmission. Come on, I'm a guy, I gotta enjoy myself. We drove the car. The salesman even said, you're never going to see another car like this. They're very rare. No one really has them out there. And so I decided, so we ended up driving it. And guess what? On our drive, we saw another one. So we pulled them over and asked them about the car and everything else. So we got to see another one. On their way home, we saw, two more. So in one day, we saw 3 of them. So we started saying, all right, now that we're aware of the car, and my mother, trust me, was drooling for the car, and I didn't mind her getting one because, heck, I know I'd be permitted to drive it. So, it's a win-win. So we keep track every day. So how many did you see? I mean, sometimes we were seeing them 6 times a day. Why did we see them and not before? Well, we didn't know about it before, so we didn't desire it. But once we saw it and we desired it, then we started seeing more. That's the way desire works. Now, the desire for the Creator, desire for God, desire to love God, is the way you dial in a connection to God. It's that simple. Desire is the tool we were given to connect to the Creator. It's that simple. There's no more, there's no less. That starts the process. That makes the connection. That lifts up the phone and dials the number to make your connection with the Creator. You know, dial 7. You have reached the 7 sephirots, the 7 countings. And then you're in. It's that simple. You come as you are. You don't need an intermediary. If you wonder about that, take a look at chapter 30 of Deuteronomy, verses 11 to 19. And you will see no one has to die for you. No one has to go to heaven and come back for you. You don't need an intermediary. It's a direct connection. The Creator accepts you as you are, simply because you desire it. And that does not mean that you shouldn't transform. It doesn't mean you shouldn't improve yourself. That's not what we're talking about. But we're talking about the initial connection requires a desire. Now these videos are being shortened, and I'm going to try to get more focused now that I have a lot of the background thoughts and ideas presented in the previous videos. I wish you all, and shalom shalom. I'm sorry, wish you all. How did I do that one? I wish you all a great week. Shalom shalom.